Welcome to Textural Anthologies, the podcast series that explores the personal and professional side of creative individuals. My name is Massimo Casagrande, and in the second series, I will be continuing my informal conversations with friends, colleagues, and fellow creatives to discover more about their stories, their journey, what makes them tick, and above all, their creative outlets. Today's creative boundaries are blurred more than ever, and in the second series, we will explore how creativity is influenced and inspired by other disciplines, and how, through developments in technology, social media, and new business strategies, the creative industry is evolving. Enjoy the episode. Today's guest launched her company 2 years ago with focus on connecting influential members of Generation Z with brands they love, and since then, it's grown rapidly. In these past 2 years, she has been featured in Forbes magazine, been invited to take part in TEDx Talk, and featured in Ad Age's 40 Under 40. Oh, and she's only 20 years old. Today, we talk to Ava McDonald about Zfluence, the agency she created, and how she wants to add authenticity to the social media world by focusing on the genuine brand passion of Generation Z. We also speak about how teen entrepreneurship is on the rise, are teen entrepreneurs being taken seriously, and are we looking at new business models to consider? I welcome today's guest, the Zfluence entrepreneur, Ava McDonald. Hi Ava, how are you?
Hi.
So you launched Zfluence in March 2019. And the idea behind Zfluence was to add authenticity to the Instagram advertising economy by focusing on genuine brand passion for Generation Z. I've been reading up about you. There's lots of articles that have been published about you. And I can see that the company has had a rapid growth, connecting influential members of the Generation Z with the ages between 16 to 25 with brands that they love. And what I liked is in one of the articles, you actually likened your site to a Bumble dating site.
Yeah.
I thought that was quite fun. But you said this because it's usually pairing brands with the Generation Z influencers that they would like to work with. So if you could just explain a little bit more the concept behind Zfluence.
Yeah. So Zfluence connects influential members of Generation Z with the brands that they authentically love and want to promote on social media, as well as to their friends. So the reason that I started Zfluence is being 17, which is how old I was when I founded Zfluence. I was scrolling through social media quite frequently, and my social media feed was often plagued by really disingenuous and obviously sponsored posts by professional influencers. And it really just occurred to me that the people who I really take my product recommendations from are my friends at school and not professional influencers. So from there, I wanted to create a platform where members of my generation and my friends could benefit from their ability to authentically influence their peers and also connect with brands that they authentically love. So a few things that make us really different and unique. First of all, we don't allow for any cash payments on our platform. So there's always a product as reward exchange, and that's to maintain the level of authenticity in the relationship. And students also love free stuff. I can attest to that as well. So that's really a reason for that. And also the Zfluencers, who are our Generation Z influencers, get to choose the brands that they want to work with, which empowers them to really forge those authentic connections for themselves, sort of like Bumble, where the woman makes the first move. And from there, we allow brands to connect with their authentic Gen Z brand fans and to form a really meaningful partnership that speaks volumes for the friends of Gen Z consumers when they see posts about different products.
So I'm just a bit curious of how it works. The pairing up, the teaming. You said like in Bumble, the woman makes the first move. How do they pick each other? Is it a mutual thing? Are there brands that come to you saying, I actually want to work with this influencer? And has it happened that maybe the influencer said no?
So every relationship on our platform starts with the Zfluencer. So when a Zfluencer is accepted into our network, and we have a very thorough application process, as we're looking for people who are influential members of their campus communities and their broader communities, they get to choose the brands that they want to work with. So brands are only choosing their Zfluencers from a pool of self-identified individuals who already have said, I love your brand, I love your products, and I'd love to share your products with my friends. So that's how we keep things super authentic. And as a result, all of the pairings that come out of that are really genuine, as are the posts too. So that's kind of logistically how we work. The brands get to choose from a pool of people who have said, I love this brand. I would love the opportunity to work with you. and to share why I love your products with the people that I know and come into contact with in my daily life.
Which comes first? Do you approach the brands first, or do you have the influencers first? Because you said there's a process, there's a selection process to become a Zfluencer. So do they fill out a questionnaire, maybe provide a list of brands that they'd like? And then would you approach these brands if they are not already clients of yours?
Yeah, exactly. So on our Zfluencer application, we ask that Zfluencers provide us a list with a few brands that they really love. And from there, that's how we reach out to those brands. Because, of course, while we also want to provide brands with the opportunity to connect with their authentic Gen Z brand fans, we also want to provide influential members of Gen Z with the opportunity to spread the word about brands that they love. And while on other influencer platforms, the platform or the brand gets to be at the forefront and choose what influencers they want to work with or not, we really want to put the power back into the hands of the Zfluencer and let them be at the head of that relationship. So that's really what formulates our approach. And that's why we really only reach out to brands that Zfluencers actively request and say, hi, I would love the opportunity to work with this brand. I'm really passionate about their products. If you could reach out, that would be really great.
And the brands, they range from anything from apparel to beauty to everything, correct?
Yeah, we've really done it all. We work with any brand. We always say that any brand that wants to reach Gen Z is a perfect fit for our platform.
And your Gen Z influencers, where do you find them from? You're in Georgetown now, so do you scout them from like fellow classmates, from high schools? Do you have like recruiting days or recruiting workshops where you talk about Zfluence?
Yeah, I mean, of course, I've gone around and talked about it. Like literally all of my friends are Zfluencers, which is super cool. So just, I guess, existing is kind of like having a recruiting process. But of course, social media has played into our growth a lot. And also when people see their friends being able to work with a brand that they love and that authenticity and genuine love for the brand really translates through that post, that person will tend to ask the Zfluencer, oh my gosh, how did you do that? That's so cool. And that's how we receive a lot of our applications as well, which also is a testament to the power of Zfluence, where authenticity is really what motivates a Gen Zer to ask about what that post is about. So that's definitely something that's played into it for sure.
And regarding the post, do the Gen Z, do they have sort of carte blanche to do what they want? Or does the brand give them guidelines that, because every brand has got their brand identities and tone of voice and everything. But I guess with the Zfluencers, they have this freedom, which is quite nice. It's creative freedom because you're approaching the authenticity side of it. They can express themselves how they want with regards to the brand, right?
Mm-hmm. And what makes it really nice is that since Zfluencers are already fans of the brands that they're working with, they're already pretty familiar with the brand's identity. So from there, they're able to share what they personally love about the product and why they specifically resonate with that brand's identity. Of course, we allow brands to manage their relationships with their Zfluencers as they see fit. So they're able to provide any guidelines that they want. But all of our brands, as we've encouraged, give Zfluencers this space to really share their authentic opinions and why one product is their favorite or why they started using the brand in the first place. So as a result, the posts are really a great mosaic of reasons that different consumers love the brand, and they all kind of come together to be this really great authentic promotion that goes out to millions of Gen Z consumers every day.
Once you've done matchmaking, once you've sort of teamed the Zfluencer up with the brand, do you disappear and just let the brand, the influencer proceed by themselves? Or are you constantly sort of monitoring how the work's going, how the posts are going?
Yeah, we really believe that the brand, of course, has already made that relationship with the Zfluencer. So there's already a mutual interest going on there. So we don't want to be a middleman to slow down the process. Of course, we're always here as a resource for brands because I know that Gen Z can be an intimidating demographic and a lot of people are trying to figure out how to speak to Gen Z, what resonates. So we're always here as a resource, but we also want to empower brands to build that relationship that is already existing with their loyal Gen Z consumers.
Your mantra is professional influencers don't influence Gen Z consumers, friends do. So I guess your agency is a new word of mouth, peer-to-peer. And I find that really, really interesting. And have you noticed that during the pandemic, as you call them, professional influencers, they've sort of gone quiet, disappeared? So do you think influencers are something really important, or like you're doing now with the Gen Z influencers, they're actually a more important influence in retail or the economic side of social media.
Yeah, I mean, I spoke on a panel at Harvard a couple of days ago about marketing and advertising. And one of the big buzzwords from that conversation was authenticity. And that's a big part of what we do at Zfluence. And basically the conversation was about how the industry as a whole is shifting towards authenticity, which is really great and really positive because social media can be disingenuous and can be a sort of highlight reel for people to kind of put on display what they want the world to see, but also it can be a really powerful tool for authenticity and provides a platform for people to share the things that they're authentically passionate about. So, with the pandemic and everything, something that I talk about a lot and am asked a lot by brands is, how has COVID-19 impacted your business? Because it's pretty campus centric. But really what's super interesting is that social media usage is at an all-time high right now because people are really trying to connect with their friends and do so actively. So from there, we've only experienced a ton of growth, and it's been interesting because as kind of professional influencers are taking a step back, people are really able to see the power of peers in influencing their peers. And the kind of product recommendations that come from that have been really powerful and genuine. And that's really what Zfluence is built on, and what we're trying to do for Generation Z as well as for social media as a whole.
True. Authenticity is very important. And also Generation Z have been the ones to really push transparency, openness for brands. So I think, I really commend you guys for doing that. What platforms are you using? Is it mostly Instagram? Or because I know Twitch is on the rise. I know gaming becoming ever more important. So are you sort of exploring different social medias or just focusing on Instagram at the moment?
Yeah, so what's really cool about Zfluence is that brands are able to work with Zfluencers on whatever platforms they'd like. Our top 3 platforms, I would say, are Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube in that order. But of course, there are so many new developing platforms. Clubhouse is definitely one of them that is so new and really intriguing. And also the kind of voice component is super interesting because it enables people to really be authentic in what they're sharing. And it's truly them in their voice at the forefront. But yeah, you can really work with a Zfluencer on whatever platform the two of you agree upon, which is really great because it enables us to kind of expand to whatever platforms come in. And I was just thinking about this the other day. Like, we have no idea what kind of platforms will be in existence and what social media as a whole will look like in the next 5 or 10 years as Gen Z melds into the biggest consumer group in the world. I think Gen Z is currently at about 40% of all US consumers, but that's a figure that's only going to be growing as years go on.
What I found interesting, because you're talking about authenticity, but then the New Standard Institute released some statistics from a survey that they did, and I know I shared this with you, that showed that 86% of young Americans want to be influencers. They want to be paid by companies to promote products. Now, I want your opinion on that, because obviously you going totally the opposite. You're going about authenticity. You said your Zfluencers are not getting endorsed. So what do you think of this percentage of the statistic?
Yeah, I think that what's really great about Zfluence is that we provide all Gen Zers with a platform to work with the brands that they love and be rewarded with products. But I really think that because of the shift to authenticity, that the role of the traditional pay-to-say influencer is dying, not just because of, just shifts in the marketing space, but also people can really see how disingenuous and inauthentic pay-to-say influencer marketing is. Gen Z is the first generation to grow up not knowing a world without social media, which makes us very different. And also we can see through those disingenuous and obviously sponsored advertisements. So I think, of course, Gen Zers will want to, find those kind of opportunities to be paid. But also, I think more important than that, they would love to see more of a shift to authenticity and more opportunities for themselves to be able to benefit from their authentic influence by receiving products or participating in causes that they care about.
And I also know that 33% of your Zfluencers actually want to pursue a career in marketing, communications, or public relations. So I know that through your agency, it's almost like resume building opportunities that they're doing. By working with these brands, they're also able to build the skills for these future careers that they want to be involved in.
Yes, that's actually one of my favorite statistics about our Zfluencer network beyond others. I mean, there are so many incredible Gen Zers that are a part of our community of Zfluencers, but that's a statistic I really love because these are people who are not only passionate about the brands that they're working with, but also about the marketing and advertising space as a whole. And these are obviously people who believe in the power of authenticity and have signed up for Zfluence for that reason because they want to be part of this shift towards more authenticity and influencer marketing and social media. And I think it's really great that that mindset's going to carry on through the next generation of leaders in the marketing and advertising space. And this has been a really great way for people to gain experience working with brands. I've heard so much really cool feedback of people who have had their eyes open to different things and they're using this on their resume and using their Zfluencer experience to get jobs that they really love in marketing. So that's something that's been really rewarding to me, just having started Zfluence as a platform for people to be able to work with brands that they authentically love.
The business side is completely changing, and we've seen the rise of teen entrepreneurship. I'm so impressed, I have to say. When I was your age, we never thought about this, so I really love the ambition that you guys have and the mindset of creating your own companies. But how does teen entrepreneurship fit within the current situation that's happening in the world? Are teen entrepreneurs being taken seriously? And more important, is this the birth of a new business model? Is this something that we're going to actually be studying in school?
Yeah, I mean, I say it all the time that every teenager should start a business, in my opinion. And I also think that teenagers and entrepreneurs are very similar in that they both have this curiosity, desire to try, willingness to take risks. So I think there are a lot of complementary traits. And of course, with the exposure to social media and the internet that we do have, I think that Gen Z sees entrepreneurship as more possible than maybe generations past, which I think is really cool. And I think that we as Gen Zers have a perspective that a lot of brands and a lot of people older than us are trying to understand. So we really have something to contribute in the corporate space. So I only think that more teenagers will continue to start businesses. And I think that's really great because of the new perspectives that are going to enter the decision-making minds that we have running the companies that we all know and love.
And how easy was it to set up Zfluence? I mean, were people supportive? Were they saying you're crazy? Were they like, how was it? I know your parents were very supportive. How did other people take it, or even like your colleagues or friends?
Yeah, it was definitely difficult. I definitely faced some doubt from people. It was difficult to especially get those first few clients that I was working with, because when you see a 17-year-old walking into a meeting with a bunch of executives, they're probably going to be a little bit confused. So I definitely faced a bit of doubt at the beginning. I mean, logistically, having my own company was a conscious choice. I'm actually self-funded. So I used money that I had earned from summer jobs to found Zfluence and launch it. But I mean, something really interesting is that I have never considered myself to be a math person. I've always been more of a creative person, but it was when I discovered that data was a more important number than how old I was that I started to fall in love with data, because I could walk in and people would say, oh, she's 17, she's in high school, I don't really know what to do with that. And then they would see what Zfluence could offer and what my perspective could do for them at a quantitative level, and they would start to take me seriously. So that was definitely something that I've learned. And as a result, I've started to love data and math a little bit more. And if you told me that 2 years ago, I would never have believed you.
I still don't like it. Oh my God. No, that's good. So what was the first brand that you landed?
I think the first was Snap Kitchen, which is a health food startup company. And that was really interesting because I was a big fan of their products. And the reason that I had reached out to them first was because I loved what they did and I was a consumer myself. And that same philosophy of a Gen Z or initiating the relationship has continued on now too, as we're working with larger clients and expanding our scale across the country. So that's been really interesting as well.
Nice. When you sort of pitched them, did you already have a portfolio of influencers with you, or was it just like yourself?
It was myself and a few friends. And I just told them how much I loved their products and how my friends and I would love to share why we loved their products with our friends. And they were really supportive of the idea and thought that our focus on authenticity was really notable. And I mean, their support and the support of all of our early clients and some that we still work with today really means the world to me and was really that launching point to starting Zfluence and building up our brand community as well as our Zfluencer network.
Zfluence, is that currently just for the US market or are you expanding? Is it an international operation?
We currently are just in the United States, but of course, always looking at expanding into new markets, working with companies on a more international scale. But those are things that, of course, are just going to continue.
So if someone wants to be part of your team, if someone wants to become a Zfluencer, what do they need to do? Or what characteristics do they need to possess?
Yeah, so we're really looking for people who are influencers, not in the sense of the typical connotation of a celebrity or somebody who goes to PR lunches as their job. But we're really looking for people who have the ability to authentically influence their peers. So people who are club presidents, people who are really involved in on-campus organizations, people on sports teams. There really isn't one specific archetype, but we are looking for leadership and people who are really exceptional and passionate about the things that they do.
Before we come to the end, I do want to say that I'm super impressed by all your accomplishments. Your company has been used as a case study for, is it Austin University for the MBA?
Yes, the Macomb School of Business at UT Austin.
You've been invited to speak at TEDx about teen entrepreneurship. You've appeared in Ed Age 40 Under 40. I mean, those are amazing accomplishments.
Thank you.
How does it make you feel?
I mean, it's really incredible and surreal to have been recognized at that level at such an early age before I even turned 20. But I mean, I really hope that any accolades I receive or coverage I get can serve as inspiration to other Gen Zers who want to start businesses or create a solution to a problem that they see on social media or in society as a whole.
And what is next for Zfluence?
We are continuing to grow every day, getting new brands on board in our brand community and building our Zfluencer network. We currently have a total reach of more than 16 million Gen Z consumers, and that number is continuing to grow every day. And I love that every day is different. And that's what makes my job really fun and something that I love and want to continue on doing forever.
Did I see that you're doing Z Consult? Have you branched off into consulting as well?
Yeah, so we also offer Generation Z consulting, and we've worked with a number of clients, including Unilever, on Gen Z consulting and just insights. I love doing Gen Z consulting work because it's fascinating that something that I would consider so second nature is something that a brand thinks is so groundbreaking and new. So I love being able to provide that perspective at a firsthand level to brands at any stage that is helpful for them with product development or just reaching Gen Z and speaking to us instead of at us.
That's important. That's very important. Speaking to you, not at you. So you've just started your studies at Georgetown, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Where do you see yourself upon graduation and where do you see Zfluence?
Yeah, so my plan for Zfluence is to continue working as the founder and CEO upon graduating in 2024. And while I'm at Georgetown, I'm really excited to be learning about lots of incredible things. All of the professors I've had have been really wonderful. I've been able to meet with the head of the entrepreneurship program here at Georgetown, who is incredible. The entire program is one of the reasons that I was so interested in Georgetown from the get-go. So it's been really cool to actually be here, virtually, and connect with all of the people involved. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to the next 4 years. And since my business revolves around Gen Z, it's really cool to be surrounded by other Gen Zers, and every single perspective of anyone I meet is helpful for me as a CEO running a company that's all Gen Z all the time. So that's been a really great experience for me.
I've had the opportunity to meet some of the GRLA team members, and I have to say, an amazing bunch of people, really, really nice. And if they continue that way, I think economically we're going to be in good hands.
Yeah, GRLA is an incredible club. I joined probably during my second week at Georgetown, knowing that this was I love the business of fashion. I think that it's fascinating, and I especially am interested in the way that kind of Gen Z consumer habits overlap with fashion business, with this big shift to sustainability and kind of more purpose-driven fashion. So that's been really interesting to me. And I've loved being a part of that network. And I've met so many great people, and all of the people in that club are really business oriented and love the creative side. And they're really people that I see myself aligned with in a lot of ways. So it's been a really great experience.
Ava, thank you so much. Great talking to you and hopefully see you soon.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for listening to today's episode, and I look forward to inviting you next week to our new episode. So stay tuned, stay safe, and speak soon. Bye.